Hello and welcome back for another episode. Super excited about this one. We're talking with Monique and all that she's built on Instagram and how she runs her business up in Canada. So really excited for this one. Hope you'll join along. If this is your first time to the channel though, make sure that you hit that subscribe button and tap the bell notifications because we do have a lot more guests coming through, not just in real estate, but around the real estate industry, influencers and inspirational type of folks all throughout this industry and all over the world now, honestly. So super excited about this, but welcome back. Thank you so much for joining us, and let's get right into the interview. All right, welcome back. Thank you so much, Monique, for joining us today. Really do appreciate you being here. For everyone that's watching, Monique, everyone, Monique. So Monique, tell everyone about you real quick, who you are, where you are, a little bit about your business, your specialty, what makes you different, all that type of stuff. Let's unpack all of that in I don't know, 2 or 3 minutes.
All right, cool. Hi, Matt. Thanks really from the bottom of my heart for being here today. I'm really happy about it. Absolutely. So I've been a realtor. I'm based in Montreal, Canada. Montreal is about a 45-minute plane ride north of New York City, for those who don't know, and a 3-hour plane ride north of Florida. So we're not far from you. I've been a realtor since 2005. However, I only started full-time in 2011. And I work mainly, my favorite kind of clients are the first-time buyers. I do so well with them. They're amazing, and we have such a good time when we're searching for those properties. But I also love new construction. Investors. I have a lot of investors who like pre-construction, and then they rent them out or they sell them for a flip. And then also the luxury home sellers who are now either downsizing or moving away.
Absolutely. Very cool. Well, and one of the reasons I wanted to have you on, and I've enjoyed our time so much on Clubhouse and connecting in the different rooms and stuff. You and I are very aligned on one thing, and that's networking, which I love to talk about because I feel like there's no end to it, right? Like it's just one of those subjects that everything just starts to build on top of each other. But that was definitely one of the reasons and one of the things I wanted to talk to you about today. But in addition to that, of course, your business. So talk to us a little bit about, where you started. You mentioned going full-time there. Unpack a little bit of especially the last couple of years and how you've kind of elevated your game, how you're creating new connections and referrals, of course, and just kind of unpack it. Because I think a lot of people don't hear the full story, right? And you mentioned maybe not full-time, but then going full-time, even that is a whole story in and of itself. But talk to us specifically, about the last couple of years here and how you've kind of elevated your game.
Okay, so about 2015, I joined a luxury brand. I'm not going to name names. They're all great. Yeah. And I think that really changed my career because it made me focus on a completely different kind of clientele. But just like every other luxury agent, we call ourselves luxury agents. It's more the experience, right? That's really luxury. And the price is the price, but the experience always has to be top notch. And I think that's what my clients understand from me. They know that if it's a rental or a smaller condo or a high-end property, they're still going to get the same exact service. So, how did I elevate my game? So once I started listing those properties, and I was doing a lot of advertising or videos on YouTube way back then, and none of us were there. And I had clients call me and they're like, I saw your YouTube video. And I was like, oh my God, people actually find me on the YouTube. And that gave me an amazing multi-million-dollar listing, which I sold. And then it just went, how do you call it? Snowball effect.
Yeah, I get it.
Great. Yeah.
I love it. Well, talk to us a little bit. I mean, your website's beautiful, first of all, because I love the video in the background. It feels like it's kind of drawing you in, which is not common on most real estate agents' page. It's just here's why you should choose me. And I like how it kind of feels like it's an envelope, it kind of comes around you and makes you feel really I felt warm, at least. That's the first word that kind of came to mind. But I feel like not many people put a focus on that. So kudos for that. But talk to us a little bit about, like you mentioned there, I think a lot of people get caught up with, I haven't done anything with this, right? And we talk a lot about this in the new agent rooms and stuff where, you have no experience, you have no clients, there's literally nothing that you can show for typically in the first year unless you're out doing a number of things. And you and I have talked about this a little bit about open houses and networking and just being in the right places at the right time. So if Monique had to go back and start completely over, so let's say 2022 is your first year in real estate, what are you doing? How are you going to structure things now, especially knowing what you know?
So content is king. If I don't have any listings, I'll do what I did way back when. I found these two young guys who were in university.
Yep.
They charged me next to nothing to do videos, and I did videos about neighborhoods. I went around, I'm like, this is why I love old Montreal.
Yeah.
And that was what was on YouTube. And we went around, we visited the art galleries, we went to coffee shops, I went to hotels and then a spa. And they're all featured in my video. So people who are searching for that neighborhood found me there. Of course, I said that I'm a real estate agent, right? But my goal was not to sell. It was more to be out there and informative. And being out there is crucial. So, you know, there are different ways of networking. You can network with people online. You can like their posts and just comment on their Facebook post. Just, hey, how are you? Wow, I love your post. That's it. All you have to do is be there. You have to be present. If you're not there, you don't exist.
That's right. That's a really good point. Well, so I know Canada's in a little bit different state right now with everything happening, but it sounds like you guys might be opening up in the next couple of months. So, no?
Last night we had a press conference and it's the opposite right now.
Oh, okay. So I didn't see that press conference.
Yeah, I know.
I was talking with one of your other agents up. I think it was in Vancouver, actually. So maybe there's differences too.
Yeah, they're safer there. It's the West Coast.
Yeah. Okay. But so we'll talk about, you know, just the in-person networking, because that's, I think, one thing that a lot of people have struggled with, right? Is, you know, even if you're good in person, right, you've had to adjust your whole game. And so, I was just showing all your Instagram feed there, which is phenomenal. I mean, I love the way, and this is another reason I wanted to have you on, because I feel like we're very aligned in our approach. Definitely different tastes, different flavors going on, but I feel like we have the same ideas that when I watch your story, I feel like I'm there with you. Like I'm walking through the building with you. Like I'm in the car with you. Like I feel like it's very forward facing and pleasant to be a part of. Right. But I also feel like I learned stuff along the way, and especially two totally different geographies, being in the southeast of the United States and where you are. I mean, just could not be further from each other, but there's a very similar kind of vein there. So talk a little bit about Instagram. Obviously you built a massive following there, but talk about that and how you decide to create content. Because I think that, much like the first year in real estate, it's very similar in that people have no idea where to start. And you might have 100 followers or one follower, but how do we get to 10, 11, 12,000? But also creating good conversations, because we know followers mean nothing, and that creating business as a result of Instagram has been something that you've been really, really successful with.
Okay, so let me start by saying I started stories before Instagram. I was on Snapchat stories.
Same.
Instagram stories didn't exist, and that's where we all were.
Yep.
And that's where I got comfortable behind the camera, because I'm an introvert, believe it or not. I put me in front of a million people and I'm just going to be flustered. So I really practiced on Snapchat. Then when Instagram started, I was furious, but I still did it. I was really upset that Snapchat had to disintegrate because I have no more followers there. But I started doing it slowly. And it was really behind the scene. Hey, I'm at this condo. Here's a story of why you should buy in this neighborhood. Not all buildings are built alike. This is why you should pick this one, stuff like that. But when Instagram first started, it wasn't like today. I mean, everybody would follow you because, we would just pop up in their feed. There were not a lot of people on Instagram. So everybody followed each other continuously, and it built really, really fast. But then it stagnated when Facebook bought Instagram. I felt like my Instagram was dead. And then, you know what? It grew a lot in the last year. I would say thanks to Clubhouse.
I was going to say, I feel like that's been the story for the first 6 months, especially of this year. I got in January 4th, and then through like June, July timeframe. Yeah. I mean, I went from 1,800-ish to over now 40, 4,200 or 4,300, I think now,
Right.
but it's definitely tapered off a little bit. But I think, what you just mentioned there is really important, that we all start somewhere. Like, I know a lot of people that know a ton of people, and depending on your generation too, like I feel like kids younger than me, and I say kids in their 30s or 20s, that their whole generation grew up on Instagram. Like they have 1,100, 1,500 people just that they know, like close friends and stuff, right? For us, it's a little bit different with the business and everything. So talk to us a little bit about your strategy there, how you developed it, because to your point, not everyone starts on video, number one. I think that's like one of the bigger hurdles to get over. But then how do you come up with your different posts or your different videos, and whether it's a property tour and featuring something, that you're, like you mentioned earlier, that feel like it's something different that not many people see or notice, to even just giving what I call edutainment, right? Or information that's educational.
Yeah. So I spend a lot of time in my car, right? Driving from property to property. And so I think a lot. And all these ideas just randomly pop into my head. And I have these conversations and I'm like, is this a post? Is this a story? and then I'll just translate it into that. Or I'll be shooting videos behind the scene in my stories. And then I'm like, that's a reel. And then I'll bundle it together and put it into a reel. And I'll add text and maybe think about something that happened to me this week, or a buyer, and maybe it's 3 tips that they need to know. I'm not structured. I used to be. I'm not anymore. I'm a really let's go with the flow. However, if I see that I have too many posts that are pictures of my properties, then I'll make sure to put one of me, and then talk about something random like politics, which is really bad to do. Don't do it. Or, something that's going on. Because I ran in politics. I don't know if you know that. I ran in municipal government, and trust me, it taught me a lot of stuff. We think that real estate is stressful. You haven't been stressed. You haven't.
True.
So I try to mix it up. They say that you should put 80% personal and 20% business. It depends. It depends.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that was one thing, and I'm sure you've heard me say this before on Clubhouse before, but that's one thing that I looked at, because I'm like you. Like, I like to watch what other people are doing, and does it hit me? Like a property tour, unless it's like really, really well done in a reel or with a transition or something, like you got to be very engaging, right? Because our attention is just like squirrel on to the next thing, right? But especially before I even got into real estate, I was looking at every agent in Atlanta around Instagram and Facebook and Snapchat at the time, which, where we both started. But what I saw was a lot of the just solds and just listed and just posted. I mean, it was just like, as a client, as a potential client, at least, I'm not getting anything from you other than you're in real estate. And how much can you possibly post about that before it just becomes old, right? And to your point, I think it's a great point, and I hope it doesn't get missed by folks here, is that when you show your face, there's instantly a connection, just like this, right? In video, you and I have only seen each other face to face a handful of times, and spent more time in an audio only platform where, you kind of cut through. But with video, your face is everything. Like that's a lot of the reason why, I would rather send a video message than a text message, because in a text message, you can read it, or my clients can read it and go, and it might hit them totally different than the way that I intended to. But if they see me smiling and pleasant, it has a whole different meaning to it. So I really appreciate you pointing that out. It's really, really important. Anything that you would say as we kind of, finish the conversation here about getting on camera, about getting more comfortable, even just with video? Like, I see a lot of people just shooting property or just shooting where they are, what they're doing, not showing their face. Anything you would tell them to kind of get over themselves or get over that fact?
We're always afraid of being judged, right? Oh, they're going to think I'm like this, or they're going to think I'm like that. If you're thinking that way, the other person's also thinking that way. And honestly, their opinion means nothing. Just put out the content, as long as it's in good taste. You know what I mean? Like, don't take off your shirt. Like, I've seen some agents with their shirts off, like not in good taste.
Fine line. There's a very fine line.
No offense. Just do it. Like, honestly, don't even think about it. Do 1, 2, 3, post it. Yeah. That's it. You have to do it.
I'm curious, this will be the last question for you. Do you ever go back and watch your old YouTube videos? Like, is there any part of you that's like, this is where it started?
Yes. I can't believe how young I looked. I thought I was old back then. I'm like, wow, not so that. They're very cringy. Some are cringy. I did a post on Instagram about it last week, I think, or 2 weeks ago. But it doesn't matter because that's how I started, right? And it was fun, and that was who I was back then. And I'm trying to get more content out on YouTube, but I don't know. It's not working for me mentally right now, but it's gonna come.
Yeah, I get it. I'm like you. Every once in a while, I'll go back and watch, you sort oldest video to newest video, and I'll click on one of the first 5 to 10, and I'm like, oh, this is hard to watch. Like, and if anyone needs any sort of confidence, go watch these first couple of videos that we're talking about. And the people that you see in front of you today are not the same people, because it helps you build some confidence, but it also, I think, and we've seen a lot of this with Clubhouse, I feel like too, again, just from an audio perspective, you do build confidence, but you also become a much better communicator. I mean, that's one thing that I was like hyper focused on this year was, how do I communicate my message and my value proposition and everything that I do and want as part of what I do? How do I communicate that as clearly and concisely as possible, right? And it's funny, like with Instagram stories, there are very few times that I go back and re-record something, because I feel like people like that raw, authentic, I mess up or I fumble on my words, and they like that. Like, I get more engagement out of that than I do the most informative and well-prepared posts. But I feel like I'll take, 3 or 4 15-second clips, and then I'll condense them down to 1 or 2, right? And I feel like that is a really good practice. And so to kind of piggyback on what you said about just hit record and post it, go. Do the same thing, revise it, like listen to it. Don't be super critical. Just get to the point. People's attention, again, is very, very short. So I love that you mentioned that. Monique, I appreciate your time so much. If someone's watching and they're like, you know what, I actually know someone that's moving to that area, or I'm thinking about moving to that area, or I'm an agent and I need a referral partner. I've had a couple, missed opportunities in the last year or two here, because we know how mobile the world is now. What's the best way for them to get a hold of you?
I think it's either Instagram DMs or by email. Don't send me a text message. And if you're going to send me a text message, tell me who you are.
Okay, that's another one. So I just mentioned this in another video, but if you see Monique here on Instagram, go follow her first and then send her a message, because if you send her a message and then you follow her, that message may get sent to requests and she may take significantly longer to get a hold of you. But Monique, thank you again so much for your time today. I really do appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
All righty, see you later.
Okay.
All right, thank you guys again so much for coming back to the channel. Really do appreciate it. If you are new, once again, hit that subscribe button. Make sure you tap the bell notifications to see who comes on the show next. Every week at 4:00 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we've got a new agent from Canada, North America, Mexico, the United States, wherever you want to be here in North America. We can help you out with that. I'm building out an entire list of awesome agents from all around the country, and again, all around the North American continental United States. I mean, we're even doing one in Hawaii, which is going to be amazing, and Alaska. So anyway, if you know anyone looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate, you can always start right here and we will get you connected. If you don't see a video, it probably just means that one's coming soon. So if you have an area that you're looking for, you can always reach out. Don't hesitate anytime, and we'd love to hear from you as well. If you ever want to schedule a Zoom too, there's always an opportunity to do that up in the channel art here as well. I really appreciate you all. Have a great rest of your day. We'll talk to you soon.